The last question that I had was, in 2012 you said that that racism wasn't as much of a problem as racial indifference. Has that gotten worse?
Racial indifference? Absolutely. Well, I'll take that back. Strike that. No, it hasn't gotten worse. It's just become more visible. We have to be careful when we say worse and it's getting, it's not worse. I mean, it's just more visible. We're able to see people get assassinated on Facebook. In 2012, we couldn't do that. But it's a disrespect to my ancestors to say things are getting worse, because I've suffered far less than they have. But at the same time, similar things are still taking place. And I'm not the authority on all of this, but I read and try to stay informed. And when I see the warehousing of people who look like myself, I believe that that's a direct correlation with something like chattel slavery. That's hyperbolic for some people. To me, I believe Michelle Alexander when she says that. When you round people up with petty offenses and give them long prison sentences and take them out of the population and take their rights away from them so that even if they get out, they can't vote or they can't get public housing or they can't get back on their feet or they can't even get federal loans for school so they can't educate themselves. She made a great case, and I believe every word of it. So are things getting worse? No, they're the same. There's a direct line one can draw from 1619 to 2016, and it's a direct shot line through. Now, has there been some improvements? It depends on who you ask, because some people were perfectly fine with segregation. I mean, they were perfectly okay with it. Some would make the argument black businesses thrived during that period, and we were perfectly fine, and integration ruined that. I'm for integration. You know what I mean? Like I was telling the man who rolled up on me, I'm no nationalist. You know what I'm saying? I'm no black nationalist. I don't believe that we'd just be better off if we left all each other alone. I don't believe that. I'm for integration, but what I'm not for is for the type of integration that erases my humanity. That's the type of integration I'm not for. And when you see stuff like this happening, that's an attempt to erase people's humanity. Because look how many claims you have just on that one piece of paper. They never filed any lawsuit against anybody for any of these things. And you have to ask yourself why. Because Topeka is a bastion of things like this, of intimidation, of harassment. As I mentioned, people unwilling to even sign, even though I said you could do so anonymously, to where you only have to put your name, just put your race, your age, and the type of incident. They didn't even want to touch that. So we're living in an environment of fear. The community is in fear, a segment of the community is in fear, and they're silenced to where we can't even have an event like this, to where the people who are in charge, I'm not talking about the black ministers, I'm talking about the police chief. We can't even have an honest discussion because they're colluding before the event even takes place to silence anything that may get outside our comfort zone.
That's the word.
Of where we want it to go.
Right.
That's not a good faith discussion. What you said you plan to do with the internet thing is more of a good faith discussion than that farce is. And so for me to say it was staged is absolutely true. That's not some throwaway statement. The evidence reveals it was a staged meeting.